So that's pretty much what we have. So now I'm just gonna transition to my partner here, and Michulika.
Gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. It's a pleasure to see you here. We have many people, actually, they kind of, because of the weather and COVID, they kind of postpone for the next session. So we have, I'll touch just a little bit about safety, right? Safety before you start any job, you gotta make sure you wear, the harness on the roof. You gotta make sure you anchor. You gotta be aware that this is the metal roofing is actually a little bit different than the shingles, right? It's more slippery. You gotta be aware of the weather, right? So you gotta take all those safety things in consideration before you start any job. So as Adrian mentioned, we have five profiles right now. We are selling 5 profiles, and actually two of them can be installed just left to right. All the other ones you can start installing from any side because of the corrugation, right? If you look, so this is called classic model, which is at the bottom over there. So that one and this one, you can start installing just from left to right, right? All the other you can, because of the type of the corrugation, you can start any size. So the first step is the roof preparation. When you start installing the roof, we recommend if you have shingle roofing, we recommend to remove the shingles. And second step would be to inspect the deck to make sure nothing rotted. If something is required, you need to make sure you replace all the damaged structure. Then you got to assess what kind of vents or accessories or skylights you have on site. With our experience, the US marketed skylights they have very low profile. In Europe, they have, I would say it's double the height on the deck. So these are very low. So what we do, and I think it's mandatory to do that, one is to uplift the skylight. You got to subframe a little bit with, I would say at least, one set of 2x4 frame under the skylight. Why? Because of the corrugation, you got to be above the corrugation to make sure you don't have, lower profile, right?
Just one thing to add there. So it's recommendable to change the skylight when you change the roof. This is a 60-year plus, roof. You want to know for sure that the skylight's in good shape, so it's gonna last a long time, right? So you should have install a new skylight, and when you install it, as Mickey said, just raise it a bit.
I don't know what we do right now, for instance, for metal. For standing seam, when you have skylights, you suggest to the customer.
Oh, I always replace them. There will be no guarantee if we use the old one.
Yeah, so the same thing over here. So we suggest to the customer to change the skylights. Otherwise, you might have the sealers. The seal, will break in no time, in a couple of years, and then you're gonna have leak inside, and the customer is gonna come after you that your roof is leaking, right? So we suggest the skylights to be replaced, right? So that's one thing regarding the vents, right? Some people they have solar powered vents. Some people they have classical ones. So you gotta adapt or use proper. Adrian is gonna bring right now the options we have for the boots for the electrical pipes. So you gotta first see what kind of options you have and what things you need, for the job, right? So for skylights, it's very simple. You can use any existing inventories, the building supplies. The only thing you gotta upframe. The chimneys are classic. It doesn't really matter, the flashing we can provide. But in your case, if you have your own tools break, you can build your own system. We're also selling, flat sheets for the flashing, right? So, but for most of the contractors, they buy the flashing, right? So if you have, an inventory.
Vents, right? So this is 2 solutions we have. So this one, first of all, is molding on the profile, right? and then you have this on, then you have that just as a kind of design thing.
Aesthetics.
So they work very well, and they also look good, right? And that's kind of a simpler system we have, right? So that's pretty much what we're using.
Okay, so
Can you show it to us too?
My apologies. My apologies.
Thank you.
Here, right? And this it kind of molds on the panel, right? You just shape it on the panel. This one goes on the top, and then you have a cover that kind of covering this one, right? So it's very, very aesthetic.
Is that plastic or metal?
It's plastic.
Okay, how about for the furnaces? It's a heat.
For the furnaces, you're gonna just do the shingle.
We can provide the kit, the furnace kit, right? It's made out of 4 pieces. We can provide that to you, but also we have online on the website how you cut, how you mark, and how you cut, how you try the kit, or you can make your own. Right?
So you do it. You see how it is on the mock-up there. You see the chimney flashings. So that's what it is. We have the instructions, and we're giving the kit of the flashings pre-cut, right? You're gonna have to do the cut and the installation.
Because those pipes are only 4-inch on round pipes.
On the round pipes, we're gonna have to adapt something like that, right?
Which is a high temperature silicone.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I don't think we have our own solution, but there are the solutions. You can just adopt any other solution for metal roofing.
Okay.
Okay.
So going to the next step, right? We replace the skylights. We replace the skylights. The deck is in good shape. Or we fixed all the issues we are facing. The next step would be to install the membrane, right? So one roll covers about 800 square feet of roofing. This is Adrian, if you can bring a piece of membrane, we are getting very good feedback on the membrane. It's very, sturdy, you cannot rip it off. You're not gonna see like walking on and it's not slippery. You're not gonna see walking on the roof and you're gonna damage Adrian, can you bring one piece of the membrane? So you install the membrane, you can use either, flat head nails or staples. You're using in the same way you're using right now the membrane. You start from the bottom, you go all the way up and has, the lines, for overlapping, right? Once you're done with that process, then you're gonna start installing, the wood structure, right? So right now we are using 1 by 2. You can go a little bit thicker, wider, is your choice. We find, this combination to be the most cost effective, right? And still, doing the job, right?
Have you figured out what per square cost that is?
We have, Adrian, it's about, I think, for 2,500 square foot home, I think it's around somewhere around $1,200, right, Adrian? So 2,500 foot home, the wood is about $1,200, right?
Now, after the prices went up, usually they were like $600-700. Now it's about 1,200. Because we're not going to show it to you in a second.
Okay, no problem.
Just,
So this is about 800 square foot per roll, right? 140 grams is it's synthetic. It lets the vapor came out of the home, but it's waterproof. Yeah,
So that does let the roof breathe.
Yeah.
It does let the roof breathe. So that's really pretty much the point of it.
Thicker than Decor.
And it's very, and it's really, really waterproof. So it's very good from that perspective, and it doesn't rip.
What about, so that structure helps sound barrier because of the,
You're gonna have a gap between the metal roofing and the plywood, right? Structure. So it has like a extra protection noise-wise, right? And also another protection, when it comes to the temperature changes, right? So when you have, the intensive heat, you have that chamber that allows, the temperature changes between the roof and roof itself and, you know, the house, you know, to be,
Yeah, it's a vented roof, right? So the air comes through the bottom and it exits through the top, right? So prevents condensation. Summers, you know, regulate the temperature, you know, it cools it off. Winter, having that layer, think about the windows that you have double pane, you have the you know, they use all kinds of gases, but you know, even if you have air, it does have, you know, some thermal properties, right? A little bit of sound, not much, but you know, we don't really have a problem with the sound, honestly, unless you have a hail, right? You know, regular rain,
you don't hear it.
I have it on my house, right? No problems, absolutely at all, right? So, and also, as I was mentioning to the gentleman, you know, it's really, really good because you have the wood structure, because, you know, you do have the contraction and dilatation during the winter, you know, of the metal, right? So that puts pressure on the screws, right? So if you screw it straight in the plywood,
like you mentioned before the meeting, right?
The screws may, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
usually they last, but you know, they may start getting loose after a while, right? On this one, this wood is giving you more flexibility, right? So you know, you have multiple layers of wood, so it adds a little bit of flexibility. We don't see, I mean, in Europe, as I said, we have roofs 60, 70 years from the beginning that are still there, and you have no problems with that, right? So we know this. Can you install it without? You probably can, right? It would last probably 20, 30 years, who knows, right? You can sell it and no problem, right? But we know this system works, you know it's bulletproof. You're going to spend another two grand, whatever it is, for the wood and installation time that you put into it. But you're really going to know that you're giving up.
I think if you install it, I think if you go that route and install it directly on the deck, right, on the plywood, I don't think the roof would vent in the same manner, right?
Right.
So, because you're going to have, you know, like a mini chambers, right, and the roof is going to vent just on the sides. And I you know, the plant recommends to go this way.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously, you know, we cannot be with any contractor to see exactly how they want to do it, you know, but that's the way we recommend it, you know, on the wood structure.
And one more thing, right? So hopefully we won't get that, right? So the roof should be perfect, it should not leak, you should have no problems, right? But if God forbid there is anything, right? If you have this, there is no obstruction for any dripping, then to just slide right by on this is a second, you know, a second level barrier in a way, right? So we know this is really, really good membrane, right? So even condensation, maybe if you start dripping, you know, it's just gonna go down because you have no obstruction. It just goes in the gutter.
So the next step, we finish with the membrane. The next step would be, you know, to laying down the wood, right? So why we go vertical first, right?
Well, how would it go into the gutter? I see
Actually, it doesn't. It's gonna go under. You're right. Actually,
Yeah, but drips outside.
yeah, drifts outside, not in the gutter. You're right.
But it's not, the purpose of that membrane is not, you know, to have, you know, the water going on that. So that's the second layer.
That's not the case. I was just saying.
Possibility.
I was just saying we don't want that. But
If it happens,
If it
you know, you
happens,
have the secondary,
good
you
to have
know.
and I'm not talking about a leak. If you have a leak, you should fix it.
Do you find it easier just to put a high temperature ice and water over the whole roof?
We don't need that. You know, we don't use that in Europe absolutely at all. We don't want to use it here. If you want to kind of have extra protection, you can do it, but it's more expensive, right? But this membrane is such a performance membrane that you should not. You don't need it at all. You don't need it on the, you know, on the valleys. You don't need it on the eave. You don't need it.
High temperature, because of the metal.
Yeah.
so which is high temperature?
There's different ones out on the market.
Yeah.
You don't want to just use regular ice and water because it's going to get hot, and then next thing you know, it's going to be losing out at your drip edge.
So we're starting now with the wood, right? We're going vertical. So why we go vertical? If you have any kind of leak, right? So obviously, if I install the horizontal one directly on the deck, and you have a leak, the water is going to sit over there. It's going to rot the structure, right? So going like that, we're gonna follow you start from the edges, you go inwards, and you're gonna follow the rafters. So
Put yourself on the mute, please.
So you're gonna go following the rafters, right? So you have, you know, truly support, right? So you can go, you know, usually, you know, this is exactly what we follow, the inside structure.
Just one more thing. So we're using 1x3s. It's robust enough. It's the cheapest option that is out there.
I mentioned that,
And
you know,
you did. Okay, sorry, I didn't-
the most economical.
What's that?
Just threes.
1x2s is not good enough. So
Well, he had
the
stated-
problem with
he had
1x2.
stated 1x2.
Oh, 1x2,
mistake.
yeah.
So the
Yeah,
problem with
but
one by
it's
two,
like 2.5, right?
the problem is one by two. If the roof is not square or your panels run a little bit, it's good to have a little bit of the width so you're going to catch the screw, right? Because if it runs a little bit, if you go under or over the button, you screwed, right? So hopefully it won't. But again, in real life, things happen.
So you go and finish the vertical lining of the wood on the rafters, and then you start, with the horizontal one. You start from the edge of the structure, and for the first one, you put it flush with the structure, and we doubling the first layer. I don't know if you had a chance to look on our installation guide. We got double pieces of wood on the bottom all around. Why? Because we want to have the one to use for the drip edge, and the second one, and not overlapping the screws. So we're gonna nail or screw the drip edge on the upper one, not putting on the bottom, because if I put the screw on the bottom one and I put the metal, so you will have good chances,
You can see it.
over not seeing it, but it's not gonna be flat on the drip edge. Right?
Oh, because of the,
Because of the screw. If I put a screw over here, for instance, right? And I want to put down, the metal, you won't step even on the flushing.
Just one more thing to
Well,
add.
let me
right?
show you this one. Hold on a second, Adi. Hold on. So if I put one screw over there, right? Let me just check one.
you don't got heat in this place?
This is about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I turned it all the way up and it's still this. Yeah. I can give you another jacket or a blanket.
Right, so
Yeah,
if I put
sorry.
the screw over here, right? So if I put the screw for the drip edge on the first one, I have good chances, not to set it properly.
Why would you not use just a panhead screw?
You can, if you do, but that's the way we're using right now. We're using the second layer, we put the drip edge, and the screw is gonna be on this side. So that's the way we're using it right now.
Yeah. So now just talking about hooks, right? Gutter hooks. We have two types, right? So if you replace the whole roof, right, then you use these hooks, and just for the camera, right? And we bend them with this tool, right? And you kind of bend it to the angle of the roof, right, to the pitch of the roof. And it's a way to calculate. You just put all your hooks next to each other. You have a line, and then you give it the angle, right? So you're going to get that pitch for the gutter. If you only change the gutter, then we have this type of hooks, right, which go on the fascia, right? So this goes on the roof, this goes on the fascia. Right? These are much more sturdy, right? But again, just see a little bit the thickness of that metal. Right?
I mean, you do your own gutters, right?
Yeah.
So, but whatever, hooks or nails you're using right now, right? I don't know, what do you use, the nails or the screws? Screws, I think screws are better, but even screws, they're not coming close to the thickness of this, right? If you see that, very solid, right? So why we said we're gonna stop double layer of planks. We go between the first one, the bottom one, and the next
I
layer.
have a question.
I go 15 inches.
If you put your verticals, why wouldn't you put your vertical right down to the fascia and then use a 1x6 at the bottom?
But you
That
can.
way Anything that's dripping will come right out. Because you got 2 layers here?
Right.
Oh, 2 layers this way.
Right.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one underneath.
No.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's open, right?
Yeah, so it's still a 1x6.
So-
Yeah, but you can put, if you want to put
So-
1x6.
Actually, if you think about it, I think you can lower a little bit the gutter. You can come with the drip edge a little bit more out, and then maybe even if it comes something under, you're gonna go in the gutter. But you're just risking that it might go over
If you have something, it's minimum.
in minimum anyway.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
You're never
So
gonna
it
see it.
won't
'Cause if
damage
it's
your
something more
fascia.
than that, then you should address it.
Right.
Yeah. But we are just thinking about it.
So it's open right now, right? This
Okay, I see.
has little, open. So
It should be open, if the air gets into there, right?
What I thought you had said, I thought you put this one down first and then these and then one on top. So this is completely.
right, so we have a mesh also, right? So
Right.
so the first one is flash with the fascia, right? And then you
Cosmin,
gotta measure
those
from the
details,
bottom
which
to the
unfortunately you
maximum
cannot really
size,
see
15
well,
inches for the
we
first
can
floor.
discuss them after, right? I can get with you on the phone and discuss them.
Yeah, 15, and then from over here you go.
Okay, thank you.
33 quarter. So that's part of also this. We have booklets for installation, right? So that's the way you go all the way up.
Have you seen the machine that attaches this?
Machine?
No, there's a machine. cuts
We
it,
have,
does it,
we have
rolls down,
sponges.
cuts it.
The sponges? Yeah, yeah,
No,
we
I
didn't get a sponge in here,
But I
but
gotta
we
look
get a
into that.
sponge there, so.
I mean, you have to
Everything
really
is here.
install
Whatever.
it. It's probably $10,000.
They get up to
I
that.
would
You
think
can
so.
use
So if
the
you are
sponges,
big commercial
it's not a
installers,
mesh.
right, makes sense,
Which
right?
probably didn't matter.
But
It's a lot
if you
more
are doing
sturdy.
residential, you know, with, I use fast roller, you know, the gas,
So that's one much
nailer.
more robust. You
So
can
that
use
goes very fast and
So
it's.
we actually, we're
comfortable.
thinking to
We're
offer
using
that,
it.
but it's true, that's more robust.
They're really nice. They keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very good.
So what I suggest for new installers for this system to use, you know, screws for the first couple of jobs.
It comes
Because with the screws, I'll tell you what's happening. You can adjust it. You got it. So if you, for the first couple of jobs, rather than use nails to shoot the structure, right? Use the screws, right? If you go in like Florida type, you know, for weather or, you know, high risk for big storms, right? I would rather use screws than nails, right? It gives you more, the roof would be stronger,
Or
right?
even a ring shank now.
Right. So, but for the first jobs, I also suggest to
That's
use
a
screws.
selling point. I tell people that. That's a selling point.
When you screw the structure, it's easy to adjust if you go for some reason. We've seen it already. You know, some contractor, you know, they went wrong. The measurement wasn't, you know, perfect, and then you're not gonna catch with the screw. So what do you have to do? You gotta unscrew and, you know, kind of adjust yourself, you know, to come straight.
Now, does this screw here have to touch the wood, or can you use just a regular stitch screw?
No, you have to go into the.
It has to. So
Has
you
to
couldn't
go.
use a stitch screw for just.
No, so between them, it doesn't have to. Between the you know, two panels,
Right,
it doesn't have to touch the wood.
but this definitely has. to-
Yeah, this one, it needs to go into the wood, right? So between the panels, you know, the corners to make, to look nicer and tighter, you can use the little screws, yeah, to connect them together. That screw doesn't need to go all the way to the wood.
Yeah. Okay, so those are like extras.
Extras, right,
Just in case you have like a flange pop.
right. So right now we are using 18 screws per sheet. For a big sheet like that, we are using 18 screws. And we are using 4 screws for the corners, right? The 4 screws, right? So I'm done with the wood work, right? The next step would be, you know, the flashings, right?
Yeah.
You got to start with the flashings, you know. From my experience and, you know, what I've seen in the field, I think you got to have.
So you put a 1x3 here, and then you measure over to.
You go on the rafter. It depends how the roof is, right?
And this
As
is-
much as you can.
And this is
You know,
all
you know where the right
3/4 or 13 and.
No, it's the first one from the bottom to this 15 inches. All the other,
13 inches right here,
right? All the other you go 13 3/4.
13 and 13 and 3/4.
You have here two, by the way, here you have two.
I'll
to
explain why.
support To support the flashing, the chimney
But
flashing.
that one isn't counted in your measurements.
So,
This one, no.
so from.
Right.
So whatever, you know, around the chimney,
That's all extra.
yeah, so I'll tell you why. You see the way, you know, the flashing is sits higher. So I had to build under the flashing before I set it in, right? I gotta, you know, mimic the corrugation because the corrugation needs to go under, right?
Right.
So that's why it sits higher. So I put another 2 more pieces of 1x3 to elevate this, you know, to be at that height.
When you build it, and then you take them out, and then you
So
stick
this-
the panel.
And depends how the, you know, the purlins falls, right? You gotta build additional around the chimney because the chimney can be, think about it, the chimney can be over here.
Right.
And I'm not gonna have support, so I wanna make sure I have enough support, so you can put additional wood over
I
there.
find it safer just to cut plywood out, around the whole thing.
Or to
Yeah,
put
that
a piece of, yeah,
For $50 for a sheet, it's worth it.
right, that's a good idea, right?
It is a good idea.
Right. So we notice, you know, from all this training session, we notice, you know, from different contractors, different ideas and
And many of them very good.
many other options to do things, right? And, you know, I think it's very, very good
It's
input,
valuable.
right?
Yeah.
So then the flushing steps. So we have, from my experience, I think, ideal would be to have, if you have a group of 4 people, the most skilled individual should start working on the flushing on the skylights and on the
Any penetration.
penetrations. You gotta have always a good guy in order to have the high output and shorten the time of the job.
Yeah.
So if you have the skilled guy, always, jump on those areas.
Once you have the wood on,
Right.
because the wood can be
When
done
when you work,
by-
let's say a team of 4, right, or a team of 6, you gotta, attack, the roof from all the directions, right, to go faster. So you have one team on one side, one team on the other side, and then you jump, to the flushing. So you have a guy working on the flushing on the chimney, and you have the other team, starting, the next step would be, you gotta install the hooks. The hooks. If you install the gutters, right, the classic long hooks, you gotta start this before you put the 3-pad, right?
So how much is the gutter system per linear foot?
How much it costs?
It's about 180 per linear foot
$1.80?
Mhm.
That's with all the attachments?
without just the gutter.
Just the gutter?
Yeah, so with all the attachments, it's.
So what's that bracket there cost me?
I'm gonna get a list. Yes, let's finish the training, then we're gonna go in the prices. I need to get a list.
And mandatory, that tool.
Yeah, you need a tool, right? So,
Yeah.
because it's,
The tool is kind of expensive for what it is.
If you have a license,
I mean,
Hold
if
it
it's
down
your
or
trade, right, this is
whatever.
your trade,
Right.
you need that, right? So if you know that you're gonna install over and over this, you need the tool, right? So, the pitch is, so you gotta at least, from this hook, right, you gotta leave at least 1 inch and 5/8, right, gap. And then from that area, you gotta, mark, the pitch. Before you start, you gotta have at least, half an inch for 10 feet.
Quarter inch.
Half an inch, how much you're using right now? Quarter inch for 10 feet,
somewhere around there.
quarter inch?
We put on our 5K, we just put a level in there and we keep the bubble to the side, to one side, that's all.
Okay.
So it's probably 1/4, 3/8 of an inch.
So also we have in the online presentation, how you mark, mark the hooks, how you bend them, right? So you gotta put them next to each other. The way it works, you put them next to each other, you draw a straight line on the bottom, and then based on the span, the opening, you give the pitch, right? So the next one, you bend them, you start with the hooks, you gotta use, every foot, we go every foot one hook, right? And you start from the higher side and you go towards the lower side,
How far apart?
a foot,
A foot?
right? I think you can go a tiny bit more open because they're very strong, but
Yeah.
that's the way we go. Okay.
I think it's better just to buy that. Your time will go
And
quicker.
it depends what kind of fascia you have, right? So,
Forget
but
about
this,
bending. Just put that.
So that will work
Customer
on
will
any
know.
fascia, really.
right,
If you're screwing to the roof deck, that there would work on any fascia. Whether
right,
it's straight or.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but you're
So,
not dealing with rotted fascias at that
Yeah.
point. You're doing a whole new roof system. You're making them change the skylight, change the fascia board, right? So
But I
with
think-
with
I
this
think-
right here,
I think these are stronger too.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so these,
Cause you got all your pressure coming this way.
right.
You got your attachment
So
this
you
way.
have, you have heavy snow right now, I think
Yeah.
you gotta be on this. If you are over in Pennsylvania, and you put a new roof, and
you stick to that.
Yeah,
so what we
think about
notice with these gutters, right?
Work
I-
less,
Yeah, pay every day.
more profit.
So what we notice over here with the gutters, right? So even though you don't have, the screen, right? Because of the shape and big opening for the funnel, you have no accumulation of leaves, believe it or not. We notice and we tested now
Yeah, on my own. Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I'm
foam. That heavy wooded area, he has
Heavy in the
nothing in
woods.
the gutters,
Yeah.
believe it or
They
not.
just go down, yeah.
Because
The opening into the
Is there
funnel
that shape?
It's you cut it, you cut it crosswise, and you just.
It's a big opening, right?
Big opening.
Yeah.
That one?
Oh, yeah, this is
Yeah,
what
that's the
it
one.
is, and you just cut it in, right? So it's a big funnel down, right?
So think about it right now, how much is opening on the classic one.
2 by 3.
And it's
Yeah, but then I
not
get-
well
I get a
designed,
block
to have the flow, right? When it comes to leaves, right? Has, the water flow, but when it comes to leaves, they always get stuck in that leaf, right? So this one, we noticed nothing stays into the gutter, so which is very good.
I mean, that's my testing, right? So I'm not saying that you're gonna have some big slips or whatever. Oh my God.
I mean, you cannot.
You should clean your gutter, right? But that's the
Well,
idea. Or at least check it.
I don't think you can
won't
get
have
in,
to clean it as much.
I don't think you can get in worse
I
wooded
know,
area
I
than
live
yours.
in the woods.
He lives in the woods. So we're done with the hooks. You start, higher point, lower point, right? Every foot, and then we do the drip edge. So why the drip edge? You can also install, first step you can do, slide in the gutter. Do we have a small one or a cut one? This is right. Let me see.
Yeah. Not very small,
So
So the
with the
first-
gutter, you just slide it in. You just slide it in. Hold on a second, the other way.
Yeah.
You just slide it in. There you go.
For the camera?
So it works.
Because when did you say it? Oh, it does.
Yes, I
work.
did. Yes.
Okay. We almost failed on this one.
So
Windows 95.
you're done with that, and then you put the drip edge on top of put the drip edge on top of the gutter, right? You finish with the drip edge. Now we have, on the side, we have a couple of other flashings. You have, the valley, right? You have the valley.
Crash on.
You have, under gobble. Sorry, I don't think I.
Under gobble?
Yeah, under gobble. So over here you have different two options, for the side flashing. So this is a combined under gobble with fascia,
Okay.
and we go with this.
I don't
option.
have an undergobble, but the undergobble is exactly like this profile, but it's a smaller, this size is much smaller. Because this gonna go on the bottom, right? You get a panel under, and then you come with this gobble, and you close the panel. Any water kind of slips in there, you're gonna just drip down, right? So you have the panel here, right? And this one is lower, right? It's just half of that height. And that one is and you screw it.
So we
you
do
screw
it
it down.
first.
Because this one on the wood,
So this
one on the
profile.
wood,
And it goes
But it's
first.
shorter,
flash on the edge.
and it's shorter here as well. It's
Now, does that have
So
a
that goes
lip
first?
down
Yeah,
so
that
it
goes
goes against it, or you have to?
No,
line
this
it?
goes third after the.
Right?
Does this, is this the actual,
This
you said
one,
this isn't the
left
actual?
to
it's
piece?
not
right,
actual
this
piece,
one.
but
Does
in the
that have a
profile.
piece-
The other one
does that have a
don't,
piece
right?
coming down? So-
No.
The other one you
That's
can
it.
go either way,
That's
the
it.
way you want.
You just line it right down. You
Because you
put
put
the
the
start laying
profile.
the panels, this
This
one
one
first,
has to go,
right?
and that's
Then you
apart.
come with the panels, it's
So you
exactly
can
like that.
start
You
from
come with the
both sides.
panels, again shorter, and you come with the
Gotta go slow. His
gabble.
brain
flashing right away.
His brain too over there.
No, but again, this is not gonna be it. You're gonna have the first job, you can call, right? So it's not, that's it, and we're
Gonna
done.
be there like 2 months.
And not only that, we have the catalogs, right? So our installation catalogs, it gives you step by step everything, right? And here, this picture here, right? This should be your reference that
For the
here for
flashing.
camera for the flashings, right? So it's by number. You're gonna see, you see the profile. We're gonna send it to you. We send everything to you, right? You're looking at the profile. What the heck is this, right? You're looking here. What's the number? 6. You go on 6. Where do I apply this? Oh, this is the drip edge, right? So you're gonna know exactly. If you
Well,
have a
that's
break,
way better.
yeah. If you have a
You know,
break,
I did these other roofs,
uh,
they just send you the frickin'.
no, this is your map, right? What you need to do. If you have a break, you'll have all the technical drawings here,
And the
and
measurement.
you can do it back in the measurement, and you can do your own flashings.
And this is
so-
for installation for the
So-
gutters, right?
here is
how you put the,
kind of
how you
the
draw
map of
in,
the flushings
bend,
is
you know,
numbered,
to the
and you're gonna
slope.
see exactly where each
You
of the
have
flushing
every-
goes.
Every step, you know, for the-
Okay, perfect.
The band one, or is there video too?
Yeah, we can bend one if you want to bend one.
How do you measure?
And by the way,
What do you mean, how you
Yeah,
bend?
how do you measure the bend?
all
If it's
the
an 8 pitch,
right?
6 pitch,
as well as we have
you
videos
put the hooks
online.
together.
I've installed decorative stone coated shingles, many of them.
You
and
put
it's
the
the same
hooks like
system.
Very similar. Yeah, the only difference is you can screw them on the vertical,
So,
that's right?
Based on the
Right,
pitch,
this
what
is
pitch you
screwed
want
on
to
the
give,
deck,
right?
and this one
Is
is
that
screwed on
1/4
the,
inch,
and
right?
it's also have the,
I don't
but
know.
it's very similar.
That's,
If you
what,
did that crap,
8 pitch?
Oh, no, like angles, like 45 degrees. You gotta bend the hook to the pitch of the roof.
so
Yeah, so how do you know, so that thing will tell you,
Yeah, you can.
Bubble level.
No, it doesn't. If the tool, where is the tool?
Right there,
right there by the table.
yeah, let's come here. In the
It
camera.
it doesn't have, you know, it doesn't have.
so then how do you
angle.
know when to stop?
You
You
would,
can-
you would use your
You see,
inside
no,
measure
but look at the screw, right?
handles.
With this
You can
screw,
adjust
Once
you
you get
adjust.
used to it.
You're looking at your pitch, right?
Uh-huh.
And based on that, you can test. Take a piece of table or something, one of the pieces of metal, and just bend it, see when you get to that angle, right? But once you get a little bit of experience, you're gonna know,
Ideal would be
right?
to have the angle markings, right? Away.
Yeah, but you
But
don't.
you
So
don't.
you do a pre-test with a.
Yeah, you can
Do
do
a
that,
pretest.
but you know, so for that, to me, it's 45 degrees, right? Roof.
And then the angle is the same, right, for all the hooks. It's just
So.
how you're gonna move up or down.
So this is
you're
the
gonna
tool we
get
are
a
using
pitch
for
when
to
you start
bend
lining them up,
to bend the hooks, right?
right?
So based on the angle, the roof angle, you're gonna bend the,
Exactly.
Adi, you just give me one.
The tool?
You're gonna bend the hooks to match the angle of the,
But they're gonna last you forever.
to
Yeah,
match the angle of the
Job
roof,
pays
right?
for it.
Yeah.
Tools make the job.
Yeah,
How much is it?
300 to 400.
That's not-
Yeah. I mean, when I heard the price, I said, what the heck, 300 for that piece of metal, right? But it
Okay,
is what
me
it
too.
is.
Oh,
It's,
what the
it's,
heck?
it's made in Austria, right? So it's really high quality. Steel.
Schwarzenegger?
Yeah,
In Austria.
Austria.
Okay,
Is he
so
Austrian, Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger is Austria.
Schwarzenegger is Austrian, right?
Yeah.
So you're done with the drip edge, right? You have the gutter in, the caps for the gutters. You just use these covers. You just put silicone inside and just tap it in, and that's it. It's done.
And by the way, once you put the end caps, they bite in, right? So you cannot take them out. They're
And,
really secure. I mean, you can, but you have to force them out.
For the installation of the spouts, I think after we're done with the roof, I think we should show them how the brackets they get installed, right?
Mhm.
Very easy. You can do by hand, you know. The bracket system is very easy to install
Bracket system for what?
for the pipes. Down
Oh,
spout.
yeah, okay, yeah.
It has a little bracket that you just slide in, right, and it ties,
right
you
here.
know, ties,
Oh,
you know,
okay,
the,
yeah.
That's the bracket.
it's very sturdy and very easy to install.
You get 2 brackets for 1 length, for 1 story. You have 3 brackets for 2 stories, right? And you're done. It's really secure.
2 screws each. And
So the that metal flashing right there, so we give you the dimensions of the chimney?
yeah,
and then
the size of the chimney, so we know what length of the flushing you need.
Is
right?
that grinded into the brick?
You can
Yeah,
grind it in.
yeah.
You should, if it's brick, yeah.
Okay.
And there you're gonna put some silicone, obviously, once you get it in.
Okay, so you're done with the drip edge, under gobble flushing, right?
Yeah.
You're done with the valleys, right? You install the valleys.
One thing, I know why you said, if you have anything down, these flashings, this is an alternative gable
See
flashing,
that difference.
which includes both, right? It includes the under and includes over. Initially, we liked it, right? We thought that it's pretty neat. With 1 flashing, you get both of them, right? But we think the other one is more robust, right? When it comes that flashing over and you just close it really
Gives
good,
you extra protection.
it's really bulletproof. This
Because
one,
It's gonna cover the end cuts.
and
Right.
it's all more aesthetic, right? You know, you know, the line doesn't, you know, it closes better, right? So we use that
Which one?
better.
The one that you showed me?
Yeah, yeah.
The
This
1,
is an
2, 3 step?
alternative.
The 1, 2, 3 step?
Yeah. This is 1 step gable closure, reclosure. The other one is 2 steps gable closure. But that's what we're gonna,
And
we
you like the
recommend.
two-step?
Yeah, we like that better.
Yeah, so this is, you
Is
want the
there an
double?
aesthetic issue?
Not
Ah,
only
I think,
aesthetics.
you know, I think
If you're
this
half
one
an
is
inch short or
better.
an
Like,
inch short, it's not gonna matter.
Exactly.
so this one goes like this, right? So this is your undergable, right? So this is gonna go on top of it like this, right? So the corrugation, you're gonna have the corrugation under, so the water is not gonna go directly into the channel, right?
You're taking a lot less water away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we say this is better. For the chimney, right? So if you have a project, you just send us, you know, okay, the chimney is 45 by 35 or whatever. So based on that, we're gonna give you 4 pieces, you know, flushing. I'll show you, you know, the models. And also I'll explain you, I'll walk you through how we cut, draw, cut and bend, you know, these flushings, right? So you have 4 pieces. So this is, for instance, a set.